everyone! Today in this tutorial, I'll be showing you all the 5 knitting basics. These will allow you to be able to knit in the future videos that I'll show you all, projects. So the first step is the slip knot. This is to get your stitches on your needle. And I have got my yarn over here. And what I'm going to do is this side of my yarn is called the tail end. And the other side is called the ball end, which is attached to the ball. So I'm going to estimate and leave about 1 inch for every stitch I will be casting on. So you'll know that by looking at your how many you need to cast on in your pattern. So then now what I'm going to do is put my tail end on top of my ball end. And then pull the ball end through the loop. This will give me a loop, which I'm going to slide onto my needle afterwards. So as you can see, I have a giant loop, and what I'm going to do is slide my needle inside it and then tighten it up right after that. Now I'll be casting on the stitches. To cast on the stitches, what I'm going to do is take my tail end and wrap it around my thumb, and then my ball end is on my index finger. So I'm sliding my needle through the loop, and then I'm going to pull that yarn up inside it. I'm not very good at explaining, so you can just see it over here. So I'm going to show that to you again. So I'm wrapping it around my thumb, the ball end, the tail end I mean. And then the other strand is on my thumb, on my index finger. And I'm sliding my needle through that, and then pulling it, my strand up like that. So now I've casted on 3 stitches. I'm going to continue casting on as many stitches the same way until I have the desired amount of stitches I want. So again, I'm doing the same way, casting on. I'll be casting on 15 stitches for now. So as you can see, I'm done casting on my stitches. Now what I'm going to do is, I'm almost done. I'm ready to do the knit stitch. So I'm going to cut off my tail end. It is not attached to the ball. And I'm going to keep my ball end attached. So as you can see, I'm cutting that with a pair of scissors. Be really careful not to cut off your ball end, or you won't be able to knit. So now, as you can see, it's still attached to the ball. What I'm going to do is grab my other needle now. And we're going to put it from the underneath my right needle. I'm going to put it under my left needle. And then wrap my yarn from under to over. So under and over. Make sure strand is at the back, not at the front. And then pull it through, take it off my needle, and tighten it. Don't tighten it too much, or then it will be really hard for you to knit afterwards. So I'm putting it in, around, through, then off. Still keeping my strand at the back, around, through, off, in, around, through. I'm going to do the same process until I have the desired amount of rows. Now you will be doing like a combination of knit stitches and then purl stitches. And in case you're wondering what on earth is a purl stitch, that will be the next thing I'll be showing you. So as you can see, I'm knitting 3 rows right now. And now we're going to be doing the purl stitch. You'll be doing the combinations of knit stitches and purl stitches. So now what I'm going to do is grab my needle and put it from the top of my, unlike the knit stitch, we'll be putting this on top. Like that. Then making sure my yarn strand is at the front instead of being at the back, I'm going to wrap it around. And this time my needle is at the front of the other needle. And then pulling it through. So again, keeping my strand at the front, I'm sliding my needle from the top, wrapping my strand around it, and then pulling it through. Now if you do multiple combinations of knit stitches and purl stitches, you will end up getting different patterns, which I'll get to in my future videos. So again, from the top I'm doing it, and then wrapping it around and then pulling it through. And I'm going to do the process until I'm good to go. Be really careful not to do your knit stitch between your purl stitch, and be really careful that your stitches don't fall off your needle, because it can be a bit tricky when you're first learning how to knit, but you'll get the hang of it once you're good, once you have done it for a while. So I need to continue doing that. Now comment down below what kind of videos you like to see, because I will definitely try my best to fulfill it. And yeah, so comment down below what kind of videos you like to see. Okay, so I'm doing it. And again, if you have any suggestions or anything, like any questions or anything you'd like to see, just put in the comment sections down below and I'll definitely check it out. So now that I'm done knitting my project, yours is going to look definitely longer than that. We're going to bind off or cast off. There are 2 names for it. So obviously your project's going to look much bigger than this. It was just an example, obviously. And so what I'm going to do is to bind off or cast off, you knit 2. You can also purl them, but I'm going to just show you the knitting way. So I'm knitting my first one. You could also do. So again, I'm making sure that I'm knitting. And knitting 2, and then I'm taking my bottom stitch and sliding it over the top stitch. I'll show that to you again. So I'm knitting 1 more. So I have 2. Don't purl between. If you're knitting, just stick to knitting, and if you're purling, then stick to purling. And then I'm grabbing my bottom 1 stitch and sliding it over my top 1. And doing that until I have only 1 stitch left. If you're be really careful not to slide off your last stitch, your other stitch. And if you're more comfortable in using your fingers to pull it up, you can do that if it's a bit tricky for you to use the needle. So again, I'm doing the same process. until I have one stitch left, and the rest of them have all been binded off. And there we go. We only have one left, and I'm going to pull the loop and then cut it off. Cut the strand off, and then slide my needle out of the loop, and then grab the strand and pull it through the loop. And now I'm cutting off the excess yarn, which I don't need. And voila, you have just learned to knit something. So thanks for watching, everybody. Be sure to give this video a big thumbs up and definitely subscribe for future videos. And I'll definitely see y'all later. I'll be back next week with another video. Bye.